Here's my analysis of the number 11 Baylor men's basketball game against Texas Tech and Waco. I know it was close at halftime, 4-point lead, 38-34. Second half, Baylor took them to the woodshed. I mean, 51 points in the second half, 28 for Texas Tech. I had confidence going into this game because, one, we were coming off of a loss, and two, Texas Tech's the worst team in the league. But I knew they would be competitive. Second half, not that competitive. Texas Tech in the second half only had 10 points in the paint. They had 20 at halftime. Texas Tech did shoot the ball well overall in the game, 43.6%, 24 for 55 overall, 5 for 20 on threes, which is about where they're at in shooting threes. And granted, I know they don't have Pop Isaacs in this game, as well as Fardaws Amac. They didn't have either. They shot 81.8% from free throws, 9 for 11 overall, 27 rebounds, but here's an appalling stat. 3 offensive rebounds. That's just solid. 13 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, 13 turnovers, 15 fouls, only 4 bench points. Baylor had, that's 7, 11, 19, 26 bench points. They shot 53.8% from the field, which is a lot better than these last 4 games. To be honest, I mean, 35 for 65 overall, 10 for 24 on threes, which is 41.7%, 9 for 13 on free throws, 69.2%. You gotta have to improve on that. 36 rebounds, 9 of those offensive, 26 assists, excellent number, 4 steals, 1 block, 8 turnovers, 13 fouls. Now over individual numbers. First, Adam Flagler had a better shooting game. I mean, 13 points on 5 for 10 shooting, 3 for 6 on threes, 2 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 turnover, 2 fouls. LJ Cryer had a quiet game. 6 points on 2 for 8 shooting, 0 for 4 on threes, 2 for 2 on free throws, 1 rebound, but he had 4 assists and 1 foul. Keontae George had his typical, he had around his average 17 points. 7 for 11 shooting, 2 for 3 on threes, 1 for 1 on free throws, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 4 turnovers, which needs to be cut down, 3 fouls. Flo Thamba, 9 points on 3 for 4 shooting, made all 3 free throws as well, 4 rebounds, 4 assists from him, 1 turnover, 2 fouls. Joan Bridges, 18 points. He led the game in scoring. That's a surprise. 7 for 12 from the field, 2 for 5 on threes, 2 for 3 on free throws, which I know he can make 3 out of 3, but I'm not going to hit him hard for that. 8 rebounds, 2 of those offensive, 1 block, 1 turnover, 2 fouls. Now I'm going to start with the bench players. The first guy I'm going to obviously mention is Jonathan Tchamwa Tchatchoua. He's back for the first time in 357 days since his torn ACL against Texas and not win. And to explain his story, he had multiple surgeries. He had nerve damage. He had supposed to have a surgery that lasts 2.5 hours. It took longer because of nerve damage. And he could tell his girlfriend from his girlfriend based on how she felt when she heard it. And he's like, "What's going on?" And she said it. And it was like the timetable was no timetable at all. It was just, and when he got into game, there was a standing ovation for him. And every time he touched the ball, people were clapping. He had 8 points on 3 for 4 shooting, 2 for 2 on threes, 4 rebounds, 2 offensive, 1 turnover, 1 foul. Now, Langston Love has 7 points on 3 for 7 shooting. He's back. So basically that thigh hip contusion, no issue anymore. 1 for 3 on threes, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 fouls. Dale Bonner played 3 minutes, 0 for 1 shooting, which was a 3, 2 assists. Jake Youngkin played in the game, didn't record a single stat. Caleb Lohner, 4 points on 2 for 3 shooting, 0 for 2 on free throws, though. 4 rebounds, 1 assist, that's it. Zach Loveday played 1 minute, 2 points on 1 for 1 shooting, that's it. Josh Uzuuna had 5 points on 2 for 4 shooting, 1 for 2 on free throws, 1 rebound. Now, Texas Tech is now 1-9 in the Big 12 here. They're not going to make the NCAA tournament unless they win a conference tournament. There is no way, no ifs, ands, or buts around it. I mean, they have to play Oklahoma State on the road next. Then to get the host number 7 Kansas State, which they did defeat an Iowa State team this past week. So, yeah, that's certainly a possibility as their own conference win, but you never know. Then they get to host Texas, which that's going to be raucous place. They had to go on the road to West Virginia. West Virginia already beat them already. Especially at home. So that's one. Then they go on the road to Oklahoma. So now Baylor side of things. They have the next 5 games goes as follows. Oklahoma at home. You should win that game. It's the on the road to TCU that kind of scares me. Kind of. But we only lost to them by a point. And we're healthier. We're better on defense. I mean, healthier in terms of John's back. Thanks, of course. We're healthy with John back now, and that adds a whole nother dimension, a whole nother level as a ceiling for this team here. And not only that, the defense has been a lot better. It's been better since that game. Somewhat. Yeah, so, yeah, that's a big thing. That's a big game right there in a week from now. Then you got at home against West Virginia. That should be a win. Then you have to go on the road to Kansas. Then you have to go on the road to Kansas State. So that's back-to-back road games, and that's tough. But Kansas State, it might drop. We had some this week. But I have to wait and see on the rankings. And I will say, we barely lost to Kansas State too. So we could very well get revenge there. And Kansas, I know they're not the typical Kansas. They don't, in terms of size, and big men. So that's possibly a winnable game. But to me, you would I think you need a split between TCU and Kansas. But if you win both, that'd be huge. And if you could beat Kansas State as well, that'd be huge. So, or split just Kansas and Kansas State. That's really the big thing. Now, the standings in the Big 12 goes as follows. Texas is still 8-2, but they have to play Kansas twice, and we have to play us. I mean, Texas has to play Baylor still. Iowa State 7-3. TCU, Kansas State, and Baylor and Kansas are 6-4. Oklahoma State's 5-5. Oklahoma's 2-7. West Virginia 2-7. Texas Tech 1-9. But Texas still has to play Baylor and Waco. That's a whole nother story. And you gotta remember, Langston didn't play in that game. Of course, Jonathan Chachua didn't either. So I'm just calling the way it is. And we didn't shoot the ball as good. I think we're better now. We're going to have an added dimension, and we're going to have revenge on our minds. So, and not only that, Texas has to go on the road to Kansas. Kansas doesn't lose back-to-back games that often. I don't expect Kansas to lose to Texas. I don't. I think Kansas beats them. I do. They get to they host West, but in terms of ranked games, besides Baylor, they have Iowa State. They have TCU. They have to play Kansas in Austin. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, and Iowa State's even in Austin. Yeah. So there's literally, it's not an easy stretch coming up for them. And it's not including the fact Texas Tech at their place. They beat Iowa State there. Why not? I mean, why not? I just call it the way it is. And I do expect Texas to hit a losing streak eventually in the Big 12. And it might be from that Iowa State game, besides a loss to Kansas, the Iowa State game to the TCU game, to be honest, or even starting with our game and they lose back-to-back to end the year. In theory, they could do that. So we'll have to wait and see, though, on the standings. We definitely have a higher ceiling now as a team. I think if John, everyday John, averages like 6 points, 5 rebounds, or 8 points, 5 rebounds, or 6 rebounds off the bench, and not much playing time, that's gonna help the team a lot. Anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later. It's gonna find subscribers. We're on the road to it. Let's go.